Hello there, and welcome to yet another edition of the Shadow Gallery. This is a very special edition, and I'm your host, James Donnelly. And today, we're going to talk about comics, but not in a way that you would expect, probably. We're going to talk about comic prices. Now, this is something that has been on my mind for, obviously, some time. I've been collecting comic books seriously for the last, I would say, 15 years. And before that, I was collecting them semi-seriously. Back when they cost, back in the 80s, when they cost 75 cents and a dollar, maybe $1.50. Now, we have essentially what we seem to be embroiled in right now is a price war. Now, you have DC. Now, I'm going to take two examples of DC's popular comic and popular character. So right now, right here, we have this issue of Brightest Day. Now, this is, it's Jeff Johns writing it. Now, everybody knows, Jeff Johns, he's, a huge fan favorite. Okay, and this is Brightest Day, so I mean it's it's bi-weekly, and also written by co-written by Peter Tomasi, and as you can see here, I don't know how well you can make that out, but right there it says drawing the line at $2.99. Okay, so also we're going to take this, which is Batman Streets of Gotham. And same right up here, $2.99. Batman, arguably their biggest, DC's biggest character, aside from, at least their most well known and probably their most popular. I mean, he's got what, like 7 or 8 titles out right now that are just Batman centric. I mean, you got Detective, you got Batman, you've got Batman and Robin, you've got Batman Incorporated, you've got Batman The Dark Knight, you've got Batman Beyond, you've got Batman Streets of Gotham. And I think there's even 1 or 2 more. But DC, with the exception of creator-owned material, and I think some of the Vertigo stuff, it's all $2.99. Okay, now, I'm going to take a couple of comics of Marvel. Okay, so right here we have issue 1 of Venom. As well, you can only really see in the in the barcode area here, right here, which I'm not even going to bother to show you, but it's $3.99. And same with Ultimate Captain America, also $3.99. Now, but we take, this is Icon, which is Marvel's, basically their attempt at Vertigo, where it's a completely creator-owned line, that also offers, such books as, Kick-Ass and Nemesis and Superior and Criminal, also by Ed Brubaker. And this is $3.50. Okay, so I can understand creator-owned. Now, also, let's take this. This is Jennifer Blood, number 2. Now, this is Dynamite Comics, and this is $3.99. As well as you can see on the back here, there's an ad for the Green Hornet. Green Hornet is also $3.99, as well as some of their other properties like Lone Ranger, Zorro, Buck Rogers, so on and so forth. The Boys. Now these, I certainly don't have a problem with with an up and coming comic studio pricing at $3.99. But what we basically have here is a battle of 2 subsidiaries of larger corporations. Now, DC, as I'm sure you know, is owned by Warner Brothers or Warner Communications, whatever they call themselves, Time Warner, whatever they're called. And obviously a lot of media, a lot of film, a lot of TV. So they're So it's part, it's just part of a larger corporation. Now, Marvel is now owned by Disney, which is, at least on equal footing with a corporation like Time Warner, at least I would think. Now, I know obviously in the 90s it was a very bad time for comics. A lot of people started to lose interest because of the raising prices and everything like that. I mean, comics just, shot up price-wise exponentially in the 90s. And then you had, publishers like Image, who's basically that, which I love that name because it was so ironic, because it was created by, Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane and, Mark Silvestri. Basically they were artists who thought that they could write too. Now, of course, some other people have come on board, like, obviously Robert Kirkman, who's brilliant, and, you've got some great comics coming out from Image. Not, but in the 90s, when it was things like Spawn and, basically just all the, Savage Dragon, and just, basically the focus was entirely on Image. It was all about the art, nothing about the story. The story sucked. And that was starting to kill the comics industry, as well as how much you had to pay for the comics. Now, that's changed a lot recently. You have, chains of comic stores now. It's no longer just mom and pop places. And Marvel, for some reason, they still feel that it's totally fine and comfortable to sell some of their top-selling titles at $3.99 a pop. Whereas DC has said, you know what? This shit costs too much. Let's reduce the, our primary stuff to $2.99. We'll let the creator-owned and Vertigo stuff, let's keep that at $3.50 or $3.99. And let's just, let's keep it somewhat affordable. It's a cup of coffee, essentially, if you go to one of those, if you go to fucking Starbucks or something like that. So, I mean, it's the fact that, and Disney has, if it ain't cheap, why bother? If it doesn't cost, $150 million, why bother? That seems to be their mantra. Their mantra is money, 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 money. And I understand that. I appreciate that about corporate. I don't appreciate it, but I understand in regards to corporations. That they're in the business of making money. That's what they do. But to take it to this extreme where you've got one company who has, at least on the superhero front, have some of the most solvent properties that are available to them. Dark Knight, it made, almost $1 billion in just domestic revenue. It's one of the most successful, it's the third most successful film of all time. Now that, fucking Avatar came out and, knocked Titanic out of the #1 spot, but it was #2 for a while there. For 1 year, it was #2. So, I mean, you've got, and that's just, but that's one example. I mean, Marvel has this barrage of films coming out. You've got Cap and Thor this summer alone. Last summer you had, Iron Man 2 and Kick-Ass, and I think there's one more that I'm probably forgetting. Summer before that, and it goes on and on. So my point being, Marvel, get your act together. Take it down to $2.99 for your big sellers, and even for some of your not big sellers. If it's mainstream, you can sell it cheap. You can afford to. It's not like DC is printing on inferior paper or anything like that. You're both printing on the same paper. You're both putting out the same product, but all DC, pretty much all of DC, is at $2.99, and pretty much all of yours, Marvel, is at $3.99. So, Avi, Joe, everybody who's involved, get behind this. Get on board with $2.99 pricing, because it's just getting out of hand, man. Too many people are dropping Marvel titles out of their pull boxes because $3.99 a pop is just getting a little bit too much, especially in this day and age. So anyway, that's my rant. I'm done. Don't forget to check out some of my other vlogs, and some of the people I subscribe to, they got some great stuff too. So check them out, and we'll see you next time.